Hello, my name is Philip Totaro. I'm the founder and CEO of market research firm IntelStor. Welcome to your weekly dose of truth to power. Truth to Power examines data driven insights for the energy sector with a focus on renewables. On this week's episode, we're looking at capacity and market share of renewable energy in the Asia Pacific region from the IntelStor Future of Renewables report. While the region may be dominated by China's capacity additions, there are many trends in the Asia Pacific region which encourage investors to pay attention. Many Southeast Asian countries were already leveraging renewable energy power generation sources dating back to the beginning of 2000. Asia Pacific started the year 2000 with 23.2% renewable energy capacity, which puts the region ahead of Africa and the Middle East and on par with the Americas, but a little bit behind Europe. But by the end of 2025, the region has started to heavily influence the overall global trend, with just under 50% of capacity additions now comprised of renewable energy technologies compared to non renewable. By 2030, we can project that this will increase to over 53%, which we would have frankly expected to grow a little faster, but China and India continue to add a significant amount of coal power generation in addition to renewable power. China's global dominance of the renewable energy sector has been well documented, but India's made significant strides in the past few years, driven mainly by solar PV. Japan has also added substantial solar PV capacity, and that technology has driven Australia, Vietnam, South Korea, and Taiwan onto the list of top 10 countries as well. China is certainly going to continue to lead the region, but future capacity additions are going to be driven by India, Japan, and Australia as they hope to try to catch up at least a little bit. The other top 10 countries of Vietnam, South Korea, Taiwan, Pakistan, and Indonesia will continue to see growth through solar PV, onshore wind, and also offshore wind. Meanwhile, the Russian Federation has a majority of hydropower resources, but they do not appear to be investing robustly in renewable energy technology anymore. So they're likely to be overtaken by Vietnam, South Korea, and Taiwan in the future. China's global leadership in solar PV has led to the technology leading in market share regionally in the Asia Pacific region, and it's having a significant impact on global technology deployment as well. Onshore wind, which is also being driven by China as well as India, has now overtaken hydropower in market share in Asia Pacific with 23.5% for wind compared to 23.1% for hydropower. Offshore wind is now the largest growth prospect in the Asia Pacific region, having overtaken the other renewable energy technologies, including solid biofuels, waste to energy technology, as well as chemical heat and hydrogen. Solar PVs made the largest contribution to the displacement of hydropower regionally. In the year 2000, hydropower was 93.9% of the installed capacity of renewable energy technologies. As of the end of last year, solar PV was leading at more than 47.7%. Interestingly, by 2030, solar PV growth will continue, but appears to be tapering off in favor of onshore wind. India, Vietnam, Australia, Indonesia, the Philippines, and Thailand are all helping to drive the growth in that popular technology outside of China. Project developers are ultimately keen to leverage low cost Chinese turbines to help get projects deployed, including all those countries I just mentioned. In the meantime, offshore wind will continue to see growth, mainly driven by China, of course, but Vietnam, Australia, Japan, South Korea, and the Philippines are also all gearing up and hoping to heavily contribute to the growth potential of that technology. The prior step up in annual capacity additions seen in the 2020 timeframe was driven by China terminating its federal subsidies for solar PV and onshore wind. More recently, a glut in availability of solar panels and cells has led to a significant amount of capacity to be added for the abundant transmission that has been available in China up until now. Other countries are also seeing significant growth in onshore wind and solar PV capacity additions, while they hope to avoid massive deployments of hydropower due to increasing capital costs. And at the end of the day, I think we can agree now that the hype cycle for hydrogen to be used for power generation in particular within the region seems to have abated a bit. That's not to say that hybrid projects won't still be developed, but we don't have the same level of enthusiasm, for instance, in Australia to develop projects that'll provide 70 gigawatts worth of capacity, mainly driving hydrogen generation. Ultimately, the story of renewable energy's growth in the Asia Pacific region has been the most tremendous of any global region. Obviously influenced by China, but starting in the year 2000 with just 250 gigawatts that was largely dominated by hydropower, the market now enjoys more than 2.8 terawatts as of the end of 2025. By 2030, they could add another terawatt in new capacity driven by solar PV, onshore wind, and offshore wind just in the next 5 years. Hydropower will remain largely stagnant in terms of overall growth. That's not to say they won't have capacity additions, but ultimately, other renewable energy technologies will see higher capacity additions per year and cumulatively, but hydropower is going to be minimal compared to solar and wind. China's influence on the capacity growth rate is plain to see how onshore wind and solar PV have spiked in the past 10 years in particular. By 2030, solar PV will see almost 2 terawatts of capacity regionally. Onshore wind will hit more than 1 terawatt just in Asia Pacific, and hydropower will be at just under 700 gigawatts of capacity. Offshore wind's a bit of a wild card, but it will be notable for their growth to more than 100 gigawatts in the Asia Pacific region from being virtually non existent about 15 years earlier. Solid biofuels have seen some decent capacity growth since the year 2000, but they're limited by the availability of high quality feedstocks as well as investor interest and the financeability of things like solar PV, onshore wind, and offshore wind. Chemical heat and hydrogen were explored, but it's only likely to top out at about 31.7 gigawatts by 2030. Hype cycle for hydrogen, particularly as either an energy storage technology or a power generation fuel source, has died down quite a bit. There are still some industrial uses that companies intend to make, but largely speaking, the hype cycle for hydrogen's over. There's some growth potential for waste to energy technology as countries look for ways to avoid landfilling. And in the meantime, geothermal is a very source dependent technology that's been significantly more capital intensive when compared to things like solar PV. So while geothermal is going to see some growth, it's not likely to make a meaningful dent. Thank you for joining me this week. I'm Philip Totaro, and this has been your weekly dose of truth to power. We'll have more to come from this IntelStor exclusive report, The Future of Renewables, next time on Truth to Power, including a look at the generation and efficiency of renewable energy within the Asia Pacific region. In the meantime, you can follow us on IntelStor's YouTube channel as well as your favorite audio platforms. And visit www.intelstore.com to join more than 250,000 subscribers to our renewable energy data solutions. We're adding subscribers faster than ever, so don't miss out. Register today. A full analysis of the global renewable energy market is available to online subscribers of this new exclusive IntelStor report, The Future of Renewables. And tickets are on sale now for the next Wind Summit event in Houston, Texas on the 3rd and 4th of November 2026. Visit www.windsummit.org and join hundreds of your industry colleagues to discuss all the latest trends in O&M. We've got speakers and panelists lined up from companies like NextEra, EDPR, EDF, Pattern Energy, ExxonMobil, WEG, and more. So don't miss out. Register today. We hope to see you there.